soundbite. Period. Like that was really good. Go back to the things that make you want to check back in. Yeah. Like I think that's so relevant. And the whole disassociation, like dissociating from the reality that is actually happening. So this might be where I don't know. I think you and I are the same about like we still want to be tapped in. I One thing that I've noticed is that people are getting so disassociated with the realities of the world because it is overwhelming. It is a lot.
It's overwhelming.
It's all over the place, and so it's very dangerous to just disconnect.
Yeah.
Right. It's because then things are happening literally every day. 10 things happen a day, and yeah, you should not be tuned into all the 10 things, but at least tune in to someone. Find a person that will keep you some form of updated. Like for me, that person is like Don Lemon. I love watching his stuff. I don't miss him. There's some days where I'm just like, okay, I'm tired, and so maybe I'll miss like because he has a morning show and an afternoon show, but he'll also cover things like what's going on with Wendy Williams, which I love stuff like that. And then I have my Jessie Woo for like I just want to like catch up on gossip. Like, but it's important to still keep your pulse on the finger or your finger on the pulse of the things that are actually impacting our communities. Because the dangerous part about just being completely dissociative is that you're going to wake up in a year, in 2 years, heck, at the rate of which things are changing in America, in the US, I should say, you'll wake up in a month and not even understand why you don't have some of the luxuries and some of the amenities that you used to have. And so it's so dangerous to like completely just check out, So that's one of the things that I do on my stories. Like it's a mix. I'll throw in some, this was happening in the world.
If you really want to, let me say this. If you really want to get to know Nancy, all you ever have to do is just watch her story. That's all if you want a full scope of her personality and like a full scope of who she is as a person, all you need to do is just tune into her story for 24 hours, for one day, because she will give you all the moods that you've ever known a person to have in one day.
Sometimes it's two. Sometimes it might be.
But no Tina shade, because it's also like if I want to know what's going on with Nancy and I haven't heard from her, I'll just watch her story. So let me see where she's at. What's going on with her headspace?
So someone actually hit me up and they were like, "Hey, you should be doing more of these talks on Sips, like they didn't say Sips, but on TikTok." And you know me, I didn't grow up in the social media era, which I did. I guess we started it, Facebook, right? Like back in the day. But it's hard for me to like now I'm like, oh, let me pull up my phone but it's hard for me sometimes to like when I'm in the moment.
Yeah, it's hard.
How do I put this? Like, I just want to go to a thing and just hit record and just start talking. Right? Yeah. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I need to go on TikTok. Like, my comfort zone is very much so my Instagram story, because it lives in my stories. It's in my stories. It goes away. Sometimes I said it, it's done. I move on. And like, do I want these things like living out there for forever? I don't know. That's what we have the podcast for, right? So, but in terms of like, if you want to like grow the like social media, then it's probably more productive to like post these things. But I'm like, but that also takes away for me, but then it's like, am I like doing other people the service by not just talking about my random shit in my stories? Like in other platforms. What's your thoughts?
Can I just say, this is why I love you so much. This is a debate I have with myself weekly. I have this debate with myself weekly. Okay. Because one of the things, especially like things that you said to me about before, where you're like, yeah, but you need to share, like when we're offline and this isn't live in color for y'all to see, and we're just offline kikiing, trying to get work done, mostly just kikiing. And I'll be sharing something with Nancy, and then she'll be like, but you need to share about that. You need to let people know what you're doing.
All the time.
She's always on me about it. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I need to. And then when I make the decision to be like, I'm going to do that, I'm going to share about it. And then I just get caught up in the moment. And I'm just like, because I'm IRL. I'm like in the moment with you, and I'm having
Yeah.
the thing and the thing.
Yeah.
So there's something, and I'm gonna try not to make this as an excuse, because I don't want it to sound like an excuse as to why I don't do it. But there is something for me about like the minute that I take my phone out and I press record.
Yeah.
There's like, it's like now someone's watching me.
Yeah.
Like, even though no one's watching me and I don't have to post anything, and it's just
Yeah.
it is so hard to just be me, and like to just be as raw as I could be in a conversation with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, take this whole sips thing we were talking about in the beginning as a perfect example. Is like, it took me this many episodes to get as relaxed and like unfiltered as I mean.
Yeah.
You know, it just, there's something about it that is a bit like, yeah, and it is, I don't know, it's like I give myself the ick, or I give myself the cringe of like the minute that I pull my phone out and I start filming myself, even though I know that that's not what I'm doing. Like, I know that's not what I'm doing.
Right.
It's just like, there's something about it that like is just like,
it's like a perception, right? Because we know that when we see people online, that's not their real lives.
Yeah.
80% of the time. And I think we're starting to get more and more into a reality where folks are just like, F it. Like, you're going to get, and then there's also realities that people, like fake realities that people make of like, oh, I'm crying, but they're not really crying. And it's just like,
what are we
doing? Actors and actresses here? Like, this is weird.
Like, who are you performing for? Like,
and you don't want to be lumped into that, you know, at least, you know, and so it's just kind of like, but it's like, no, but that's not who we are as people. Like, we're generally not those people. And then also like the criticism that folks always, it's always going to come with someone saying some wild ass shit. And, you know, and then it's like, well, do you respond when someone says something? And that's where it's like, I would, if it's like, hey, go on TikTok and post your things on TikTok for people to see what you're, maybe it just becomes like a, hey, I'll download what's in my stories, because that's just me just genuinely just talking to my very few people that are watching.
Yeah. And then just re-upload it.
And re-upload it somewhere. Maybe I won't feel as like yucky, but like, yeah, like I you know, when I literally know there's only a handful of folks, maybe not 5, but like there's consistent people that'll watch my content from start all the way to finish. So I know who I'm talking, like I actually know who I'm talking to. Right. And it's, a lot of it is not like my friends necessarily, it's just consistent people. Right. And, but then when you move it to, now I'm in a whole nother platform, like, I don't know who the heck is watching this.
This is my point. Is like, who's watching it? Who's listening? Like, you know, and also they don't, the way the internet works is like, they're not going to see the introduction that like is like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about. Right. They're just going to see a random video of me going off about something and then make a flash, you know, judgment. I guess if we're gonna, you know, talk the talk and walk the walk, I guess it's that thing of like, why do we care? Do you know what I mean? Like, why do you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, someone's gonna have an opinion of you, but also,
like, whatever.
Why do I care? Like, why is it important that they understand me? Like, the people who understand me will understand me. So this is why I have an argument with myself
every single time.
Every single time.
So okay, so I don't know if you know this, or if how long we had been we were working together during this time. Gosh, and I try not to even like bring it up, but like, it's very fitting in this instance. So many years ago, when Kevin Samuels was like really big or whatever, like, I would watch some of his videos and I'd be so disgusted because like, he's like beating up on women that he knows he could beat up on. You know what I mean? Like, someone might pop up and they clearly don't have like the self-esteem or really that it takes to like, or they may not feel like they're beautiful enough or whatever it might be. And I just got fed up with it. Like, especially like with single moms. Oh, you're a single mom, and oh, you're over 35. Oh, you ain't shit. You're garbage. You're trash. What's your size? Blah, 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 blah. So like one day, like I had a little bit of liquid courage. I was like, fuck it. I'm going on. because I'm like, you're not, what's he going to say about me? Like, I had my hair done. I was looking cute. What you going to say about, you're not going to say anything, but what I got tired of is like that audience of like nasty men, like literally like ragging on these women in the nastiest of ways. And so I didn't actually think that maybe there was not a long queue. Maybe no one really ever called for real, for real. But like, I didn't actually think that he would like, he just brings you on live and you're like, holy shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah, okay.
And I can't remember like all the questions he was asking, but it was the way that he was asking questions at the rate he was to try to trip me up
Right.
and to try to spark an argument. And like, you know me, we're not arguing. What are we arguing about?
He said, what I always know is I will always be smarter than you. That's what.
And I knew myself, and I knew that I was not going to argue with this adult man on his platform. And I know that I actually said something to that extent. Like, he was saying something, trying to like berate me. And I was like, well, that's your opinion. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. It's your platform. Like, whatever. And and he just could not. So then he starts talking about like, and I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he was talking about like my son, like, oh, you're dating, you're looking for a man to be a father to your son. I'm like, no, I'm dating, like, I'm looking for a husband for myself, like, you know, and that husband for me is going to be a good person and will naturally love my. I'm not dating looking for a husband for my child. Well, what are you fucking talking about? And and at the time I was seeing like two different guys, and they were like, you know, in my opinion, like I was dating, but like they were pretty, they seemed like they cared about me in a way. But one thing that he would ask would be like, oh, you're just a booty call for them. Like he would say certain things to make it seem like, well, but are they, do they want to marry you? Of course they do. Like who the fuck wouldn't? Have you met me?
No, he's like, you know, I know you just met me, but
oh yeah, but
type thing.
Fucking awesome. I'm phenomenal. But like the reason why he asked that question is not to say that these people are trying to put a ring on your finger tomorrow, but it's more like, is this a booty call? Instead of using that terminology, he was using words like, oh, but they don't want to marry you or whatever. No.
Which also carries certain connotations and would make a person feel a certain way.
Exactly.
Even if you feel confident in the fact that you're like, well, I'm just out here living my best life in the streets. Like, even if you feel that and you do that, it can, the way you word it can flip it into being like, well, what are you trying to say? That like, I'm not marriage material? I'm not marriage material. Whoa,
and
hold on.
And I already knew myself, and I'm like, it's not going to give that, right? So then he like gets more and more pissed off because he can't like break me. And this is all a matter of like it seemed like a few minutes. I don't know how long it was, but and then started talking about like, oh, you won't let someone discipline your child. I'm like, yo, I'm West African. Like, folks can discipline kids. No one can like beat my child. Absolutely. But like, you can't say words like that because that's what he wants you to go down this rabbit hole of.
Right.
Like, yeah, but nobody's going to put their hands on my child. No, like, people can discipline my child. Discipline does not mean beating.
Right.
So if my child is being bad, tell his ass to go sit down. That's called discipline. Right. I allow other people to discipline my child. It's called a community that raises kids. You don't do it by yourself. And he's like, you're just gonna throw your child off to the wolves. And I remember like it took me about a week to go look at the comments. But like the comments were not negative. They were not negative. And in fact, the people that actually came after me the most were women for being like, you never let a man they didn't like the fact that I would allow a man, my husband, to discipline my child. Why the hell would I marry someone that I didn't trust?
I mean, we've talked about this before. This is like, people have this like wild misconceptions about what partnership and relationship and marriage looks like.
Right.
I wouldn't bring that person around my child, and if I didn't trust that they were going to be respectful towards like, discipline doesn't mean disrespect.
Right.
I'm not going to allow anybody to manhandle and disrespect my child.
Right.
But if in my home that I share with my partner, my child is misbehaving and I'm not around to correct that behavior, I would expect that my partner would also, in the same way you would with someone that you marry where that's their own child.
Exactly.
I just like,
What?
whatever. That's a whole other episode that we've already had about.
But anyway, so I brought all that up because, like, you know, in hindsight, like, I remember my sister, I was somewhere and somebody had said something. I think, like, right after that aired, I went out to eat, and, you know, he was in Atlanta, and, like, some guy was like, "Were you on Kevin?" And I was like, my hairstyle was different, so I didn't think that, you know. And I was like, "Oh yeah," like, you know,
He said, "Damn it,
shame.
that's what happens when I drink."
That's what happens. And girl, and he was like, "No, you did so good," blah blah blah. You know, but my sister was like, "Why would you go on there? Like, that man was degrading. It's women like you that, you know." But I'm like, no, the purpose of me going on, and I never would have done it if I had not had. It doesn't take much for me to get a little bit of liquid courage, like, you know. Yeah, I'm. And so, but the purpose was not to get advice from this bigoted man. May his soul rest in peace. It was to show people that what he's trying to make Black women seem as is not that. You can be fun, fit, fabulous, and over 35. Because he never once berated my personality. He never once berated my looks. He never once, none of that. So the only angle that he tried me at was with my child. And he went so left that he ended up looking crazy, you know? And so, to your point, like, sometimes we do get in our heads, but then keeping that mindset of, like, what's the biggest purpose and what's the intent behind what we're doing, I think is very important. To some, you're going to have that lashback of, like, why would you do that? Or they think that you're, you know what I mean? But to others, that those that get it. Those that was meant for are going to actually find value in it. And so if we were to just keep that focus, I think it'd be better. Like, it would allow us to actually do the thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
I am and what I'm for and what I believe in should just shine through.
Yeah.
If you don't get it, like, upon first interaction with me, I don't know. I guess you're just not the person that needs to be following me or listening to me.
Yeah.
And I think, like, embodying that more often is important. I had a really
Yeah.
good conversation with Candace, my friend Candace, a couple of weeks ago. She came over to my house and we were just talking. This is a very long-winded conversation, but at the crux of this conversation was she was sort of like combating combating my perception of how I self-advocate, of, like, because I feel like I advocate for myself. I feel like I stand up for myself.
Yeah.
But to her point, and she's correct, is that, like, yeah, but not all the time and not in every situation. And she had brought it to me that she's like, it's been quite often that the way that you advocate is in a way that's reactionary and not always proactive, in the sense that, like, she was like, you know, and there was a specific situation that happened that I don't want to talk about online, but there's, like, a very specific situation that happened where I felt incredibly, like, uncared for, unlooked after in, like, a professional setting.
Yeah.
Where I felt it was giving very much, I'm the only brown person you've ever worked with. You don't know how to work with me, and you don't know, are not even realizing in this moment that you're being super microaggressive towards me. And, like, and I think because I don't often end up in situations where I'm not around other Black people.
Yeah.
It's the first time in a really long time where I was like, ooh, wow, that didn't feel
Yeah.
good. That didn't feel great.
Yeah.
In that moment, because I was like, being actively triggered in several different ways, shapes, and forms, I didn't speak up and I didn't say
You
anything.
shut down. Yeah.
I shut down, and I didn't advocate for myself. And so this whole conversation came out of me explaining that situation to her. And she was like, yeah, but I said, yeah, but it's just hard, you know, like in the moment you don't, like, yes, I want to advocate for myself, but then in the moment, like, you're just reacting to what's going on. Like, you're just responding in the moment, whatever. She was like, yeah. She was like, I hear you. But she was also like, but if you just made the commitment to, like, every day you wake up and you are just always of the mindset that I will always advocate for myself in every situation that I am in ever, period, point blank. She was like, then it wouldn't be so hard because you would be so proactive about always advocating for yourself that in that moment you would be able to speak up and open up your mouth and advocate for yourself. And it wouldn't, even if you're being actively triggered, even if you're in the situation, you wouldn't be reacting because you would be so proactive about advocating that it would then be like a second nature type
second nature. Yeah.
And in this context that we're talking about, it is almost that thing of, like, you know, if I was just more proactive about using my voice rather than reactive about, like, sort of like using my voice because of a specific situation or a specific thing that I'm in or a specific thing that I want to, like, if I was just more proactive about using my voice in that way, then I wouldn't have to, like, react and defend myself and, like, do all the things, because I would already be so in the mindset of, like, communicating what I'm about, like, you know, letting that part of myself shine through, that, like, I wouldn't have to then be so reactionary. I don't know, it really, just the way that she said, and her and I have had this conversation, like, in different iterations several times, but for whatever reason, the way that she said it to me in that specific conversation just, like, blew my whole mind. And I was like, wow, I am gonna just really,
you were ready to listen to it. Yeah, sometimes that's what happens though. Like, you're kind of ready to like to hear a message, and so then it's like, holy crap, you know, like I'm, you know, so you can receive it differently. But it's very valid. It's a very valid point. And, you know, one thing that I do find is when we look at the groups that are very proactive at advocating for themselves, you know, those groups don't look like us, right? And so there's, you know, what are some ways, would you say, without being like overly vocal and like just bigging yourself up, right? Like, what are some ways that you feel like we as, and I'm just going to specify it, you know, we as Black women can advocate for ourselves proactively, right? And I'll give an example for me. Like, I showed up in a team meeting, it was virtual, and with other leaders. And one of the leaders, I had my hair out for the first time. I think that maybe this particular person had seen it, because when I first started, I had braids, and then I think I just had braids for quite some time, and then I would like pull my hair back in a bun, but I just didn't wear like my natural hair, right? I wasn't walking around like this. And so I had my like a wash and go, and he was like, "Oh, cool hair." And I literally was like, okay. And then after the fact, I was like, why is this? Like, I was so bothered. I was so bothered, because you won't say that to, if a white woman has curly hair, you don't say cool hair to a white woman with curly hair. You're just not used to my.
I haven't said it to you with any other hairstyles, and then it's only when you wear your hair natural that you have something to say. It's like,
it was just completely icky, just completely icky. And then there were other statements that had been made by this particular colleague, like, "Oh, I thought that would make you smile," or, you know, like just very like bigoted, right? Like very what is it when it's a man is being, oh my gosh, is it bigoted? Is that the right?
it's just like, it's just, what's the word? It's like, it's almost like a different version of like white woman saviorism kind of thing, of like, oh, oh, I took the time out of my day to compliment the Black woman.
Yes,
like, you know,
yes.
I don't know what the word is.
I don't know what the word is, but it was very like that.
Yeah, where it's like I did my humanitarian goal for the day.
Yeah.
I complimented the Black
I
woman.
complimented the Black
hair.
woman, her hair, and I tried to make something funny to make the Black woman smile. Like, and it's like, what? And you know, just very awkward, right? And and so when I was telling the story to someone else, that they were like, well, you should have said, oh, cool hair, because he didn't have any. And not as cool as your hair. But I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to make it a joke. I don't want to make it funny. I don't want you to. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Like, I was very, like, that's a very offensive thing to say, depending on who it's coming from. Someone that has already said things to me, like, that should make you smile.
If it's their way to be, that they're like constantly giving you compliments or constantly trying to crack
jokes,
then that's like a personality thing. Yeah, it's like, you know, you have to read the room a little bit,
right? You know, but like when you're just like being like just I don't know, just weird about it all. It's just kind of like, yeah, no, you shouldn't. What do you mean? That should make me smile? Like, do you tell men, oh, I said that to make you smile? Like, no, you don't treat, you don't talk to men like that. But so anyways, I went away from that being like, I finally settled, it took me about a few weeks, and I finally settled on, you know what, Nancy, you don't show up as your natural self often, right? Like, you're always put together, your hair slicked back, or you have your braids, or you have whatever appropriate hairstyle it is. So I said, F that shit. Y'all about to get me. And natural. And you're going to get me as a Black woman. So my Black woman ways, you're about to receive that. You're also going to get professional Nancy, who can read you down and left and right, who is intelligent enough to, I can speak business to you. I can do, you're about to get all of this. Because I had to realize, no, I wasn't fully showing up as me. And so every day,
that is the crux of it, isn't it? That is the crux of it.
Yeah.
Sorry not to interrupt your
you're
speech, because you were on a roll. I was like, yes, Lord, praise him. But I think it is like the crux of it all is like having the fearlessness to always just show up as myself.
Yeah.
So something that like in that instance, right? If it was me, I would have just been like, oh, what's cool about it? Do you know what I mean? And not in a way that's mean. It's not challenging. It's not making more fun of the thing. It's like, you know, you just gave me a compliment. I'm just going to come back with you because that compliment confused me. So I'm just going to have to, I just want to force you to then now clarify what it is that you meant by that.
Right.
I need you to clarify what you meant by that. And in so doing, we'll call you out on your shit. In so doing, you'll have to, there's no way that you can talk yourself around that without admitting what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? And then that's enough. And then now I've advocated for myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like in the moment, you kind of cut it out. And so, but this person made another remark. It's funny about my hair. But this time we were in person. So I had my hair more in like every now and again, I don't do it too often, but I'll do like a mohawk updo.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that. And, okay.
I've seen what you do. Familiar with your work.
And so, and this individual came up to me, well, in a meeting, in another team meeting, again, we are the leaders of this facility. Okay. This is said, oh, I really like your hair. And he calls me Nance, which is like, you don't know me to call me, right. Like, we're not friends. My name is Nancy.
Nancy is short enough. I don't need a nickname.
What are you doing? Why? You know?
I'm not Steve. I'm not Dan.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? God, insufferable. Sorry.
Ridiculous. Yeah. And like, oh, cool. Like, nice. I like your hair, Nance. And and our leader, the like one of the leaders, I'm trying not to like, well, I mean, they're not gonna watch, they don't watch my sips anyways, but so the site leader was like, her hair was just like that yesterday. I didn't have to say nothing because he basically said, why even bringing this shit up? Like,
her hair was just like that
her
yesterday.
hair was just like that yesterday. And I didn't have to say nothing. I just was quiet. And, you know, and sometimes it does take like other people to, and he felt so uncomfortable that later on he came up to me and literally was damn near digging and trying to dig in my scalp to understand how my hairstyle. Well, I was just, you know, how do you do your hair like that? And I backed up from him. Like, it's like,
he was trying to double down because he got so uncomfortable that now he's trying to double down and make it seem like, oh, actually, no, I'm just interested in your hair. Like, I'm interested in the technological advancements of how you put it
you put it together. He's like, I was trying to figure out, did you shave the sides? Did my sides look fucking shaved? No. Do you go up to other people and try to break down the dynamics of their fucking hair? Anyways, my hair has not been a topic ever since then. Because sometimes it does, and I agree, like, we need to advocate for ourselves. I will say, like,
it's
one thing,
exhausting.
It's exhausting, and like white women don't have to do that. To that extent. I'm not going to say that they don't have to do it.
They're still women. And
they're still women.
Advocate for being a woman on Earth.
But not stupid shit like cool hair or what are braids, or like they don't have to explain themselves as a woman, right? And like that's the part where I do feel like it's important. One, we just show up as we are in our natural selves, but then to also have quote unquote allies that like these like dear men fucking stand up for women when you're seeing that another man is belittling her, is berating her, is making her feel uncomfortable. Dear men, stand up. And that's where I literally was like, when I didn't have to say anything and defend myself, and someone else, a man, decided to stand his ass the fuck up and say, I heard about this yesterday. You didn't comment? Oh, well, I don't think I saw her. No, you just trying to start a fucking conversation. And instead of just saying, hey girl, how you doing today?
Did you have a nice dinner? You know, did you have a nice... I'm sorry, I'm a human on Earth. You can comment on other things than the things that you don't understand.
Right, you know? And so I definitely do feel like there was a podcast that a friend had sent to me, and it was talking about, like, men were talking to each other, and they were saying, like, being a man is no longer... Like, they were questioning, like, manhood nowadays, right? Mm. Like manhood is so watered down. Like, what is it even... Like, the men have become watered down, and they don't understand what it means to be a man. Men are protectors, men are providers. Like men, and when protect and provide emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, all right, a man should be waking up at an X amount of time and covering his household in whatever way you say on said, whatever you like, however you clean like that's what men were initially created to do, right? But it's turned to where it's like women now. Like women do this thing, and women are the ones that are supposed to be out here fighting, and women are even you look at what happened politically, 92% of Black women are the ones that did the right thing. Black women.
I know, I saw your post on your story.
Are the saviors.
You said the 92% looking like... Yeah. Well, and this is here's the thing that it really boils down to, and this is something that Sammy and I were literally talking about today when we went to lunch, because there is something specifically where it's like in that space and in the time that we live in now, being very aware that as a man and a white man, most likely, right? You know your sins. You know the sins of your ancestors. You know where you're at. In the world. You know where you're at in the world, okay?
Yeah.
And so it's something about them needing a Black woman to like them. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I need her to like me because I feel so guilty about whatever the fuck And so I need your validation, actually. So I'm giving you compliments and I'm doing all these microaggressions because I have this inherent need to be liked by you. Of like, and it's a really ass backwards way to do it because you're just making me dislike you even more.
Even more,
but
honey.
It's like, it's like instead of just treating me like a person. Treating me like an equal and just, you're trying to make me feel special in the same way that like toxic masculinity tries to make women feel special and feel important in order to like manipulate and like, right? Like coerce. It's like all the things that you can do with, with white women or with your partners or whatever it is that you're trying to do to me, right? And think that it's going to work because you don't have any other tools in your tool. You don't know how else to do it.
Yeah.
That you're like approaching it as a way of like, I just really need her to like me, because
and
like,
it ain't gonna work.
Yeah. And I've seen funny
That's crazy.
videos.
I never actually thought about it that way.
Of people on the internet where they're making a joke about it, but like, there's been white men, like comedians or whatever, that will say like, there's just they're like, it's a different level of like confidence when a black woman says you look good. You know what I mean? Like, we'll say things like that too. It's funny because it's true, but it's funny because I think like at the core of what it is, I think it's that like they just genuinely know that black women tend to not like white men, and so if they can get you to like them, then they're in your good graces, right? And so I think like in terms of advocacy, right? In terms of advocacy, you have to remember that in that dynamic, you are actually the one that has the power now because he's obviously desperately wants you to like him.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
You have to advocate for yourself and to put him in his place because now what he's going to do is going to try harder.
Yeah. Which for me, like, it just annoys me even more. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're being annoying. And then honestly, it comes across as being fake too, because like, if you actually really cared, then you would like learn me.
That's the thing. He doesn't really care.
You don't really care.
Him, and it's about making himself
feel better.
He's like, I feel really guilty, so I just need you to like me so I can feel better about myself.
No, you're going to continue to feel bad about yourself. You're going to continue to feel bad about yourself. Because it's like, also then get to know that person. And I'm not about like, get to know who that person is, and because I've gotten asked before by white men, like, how did you get here? Why do you have this job?
Be like, because you weren't good enough. Because I'm better than you. That's why.
Well, these are like people that I report to. Girl. It's wild. And we have been chit-chatting for like 10 hours.
No, we've been chatting for like so long. No,
we haven't talked in forever. We're just really letting everybody else in our conversation.
I knew this was going to be a long one. We can wrap it up. All I'm going to say is that I think in terms of self-advocacy and to your earlier question of like, how do you think that Black women can advocate for themselves?
Yeah.
I really think that what it boils down to is kind of like a combination of what you've said of like, it's about showing up always authentically yourself in every situation, but also it's two-pronged of like, when we talk about oppression, we talk about oppressors, right? And they're using their power and their perceived power over you to manipulate or make you feel or make you act in a certain way.
Yeah.
They do that because historically, if we want to go all the way back to colonialism and all this kind of stuff, right? They do that in order to take away your voice so that they can maintain power over you.
Yeah.
Right? So I think like, yes, it is important to use your voice and yes, it is important to speak up and whatever it is. But I think oftentimes, Black women get labeled as they're argumentative or they're loud and they want to, right? So I think within that, use your voice, but use your voice like it is the most expensive currency that you have in your arsenal. Of like, I'm only going to spend this when I absolutely have to.
Yep.
And if I don't have to use my voice in this situation, then all I have to do is just be quiet. I don't have to say anything, actually. if he
Nothing.
complimented your hair and said, "Oh, your hair looks cool," I don't actually have to say anything.
I don't have to say thank you.
I can just okay, and move on, right? And like sometimes the silence is just as powerful as the rah ta ta ta, and sometimes people need to get got. So sometimes
sometimes you got to get got. But to your point, yeah, you don't also want to give that continued perception. And I love what you just said. Like, your voice is the most expensive currency. Only use it as needed. Your actions are what are really going to like make my best friend Sheikah, she would always say, have I ever used this term online? Okay.
You're about
she would
to
always say such and such. Oh, am I making a booty itch? Like, if she was telling the truth to me, she'd be like, am I making a booty itch? And like, that's like the best way to say it. It's like, there's when you're silent and then you speak, you could make somebody, their booty don't itch no more. It is just uncomfortable. They got diarrhea and they gotta hold it so they can find a bathroom, And so there's a lot of power to your point, and just like sitting there and being quiet, and then continue to perform at the level of excellence that you are. Because when someone realizes that they cannot, oh well, your comment is weird, it's unwarranted, but yet my performance is not tied to your perception of me, to whether or not you like me. My performance, in fact, it'll continue to increase. I will continue to show up. I will continue to be the greatness that I am. Despite of whatever you want me to be quiet. You think I'm quiet and because I'm just ignorant or I'm stupid. No, I'm quiet because my voice is expensive currency. Period.
Yeah, that's not to say, because that's a thing that I need to like I quite often choose silence because this whole conversation is beneath me.
Yeah.
I often choose silence, and I think I'm the type of person where I need to spend that currency a bit
more. Yeah. Every now. Yeah.
I need to use my voice that is claiming that, like, yes, Black women are loud. Yes, Black women are going to speak up and they're going to use their voice, and they are going to be the ones to challenge you, and they are going to be the ones to argue with you. But within that as well, like, you have so much strength in just your presence alone.
Yeah.
That your words are only ever going to, like, elevate that silence. It's only going to elevate it. So, like, use it as that weapon, as that, like, you know what I mean? To, like, you only take it out when it's time for the kill. You know what I mean? And you can put someone in their place with just your sheer
disposition. Yeah.
You can put someone in their place with just your sheer energy. That anything you say after that is gonna cut like a knife anyways.
Yeah. So. Yeah. We're like, dang, did you really have to kill me? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. We had TKO. Before we wrap up, so I got a thing.
I can't read that. What is it? Oh, you got tea.
I got tea.
You got some herbal tea.
Yeah, some herbal tea. So I had a lady that I know, we've met in person, like through like different like networks, and like so she has, this is her tea, Earth's Apothecary. I can't even.
Apothecary.
Thank you. I can't. English is hard.
I couldn't even read it. I knew what word you were
using. And the one that she was like, yeah, I want to send you some tea to share with your audience. So, yeah, I know, crazy, right?
It's Apothecary.
Yeah. So I haven't tried it yet. Obviously, I need to get like a thingamajigger. And this is all because I be posting in my stories. Okay. So,
you need to send me the link or whatever so that I can.
So I'm gonna try it, huh? I don't know. She might. I don't know. She might. So my thought was, I'm gonna try it first. I need to get like one of those things for the like where I can hold the tea in. And then but I want to do like a whole little thing and then try it first, and then let it settle for like 24 hours. And then like do like an official kind of like review or whatever. But yeah.
brand review. Oh my gosh, that would be so amazing.
Right?
Amazing.
I figured like we could do it, and if I got it done in enough time, then maybe if I can do it like this weekend, maybe I just try it first, and then without making it pretty, and then maybe it should be a feature in like our May newsletter or something like that, you know. Anywho, but yeah, we'll chat more about like work stuff later because I have a few ideas because it's like tying in like sips and like highlighting women to the overall vision of Shea Trendy Group. Like, how do you like bringing in together like the self advocacy piece and just everything together? I have like a thought about it, so like yeah, we'll chat about that like later. Yeah. That was like the one downfall of our this past week. I'm like, I was so excited to talk to you about this, and I'm like, freaking time zone, so stupid. It was so stupid. Yeah.
It's just gonna be.
Yeah. No, it's. I might just voice note you or something, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anywho,
just voice note me, and then we can.
Yeah.
We
can figure it out. Yeah, it's been like 2 hours.
I'll probably have
Clearly,
to
I've missed you.
I know. I'll probably just have to make this a 2-parter, and
whatever.
Another 2-part.
Yeah, another 2-part. It performed pretty well, actually. Folks liked it. So, anywho, any closing thoughts?
Oh, no, I feel like I've had so many good tidbits this whole 2 hours. I don't know if I have any other. Closing thought. When you can, you see me short circuit. I was like, what are my thoughts? I would say as much as you can, lean into being present and lean into not disassociating as much. And that's a reminder for myself as well to be more present with myself and not be so quick to dissociate. I know it's the easy choice, but that'll be my takeaway.
Love it. We're just going to close with that. I think that's like a going trend. You just close us out.
No, you made me say something.
Close us out. But yes. All right. So y'all be sure to follow Sips. If you've not liked this video, y'all like the video. Please like the video.
If you're not subscribed and you didn't like the video, I got beef with you.
We're going to block
family
access. No, just kidding.
Beef with everyone.
Everybody. Yeah. Like the video. Subscribe and then share with your girlfriends. We're growing every single day, and it's really exciting. Check out the website, SheaTrendyGroup.com. I'm sure there'll be a link somewhere, but be sure to check that out. Check out Elana Goodman. Elana Goodman, okay. And then obviously myself, and be sure you're following Sips everywhere. Where we at? We're on Facebook. Not that we post a whole lot, but just follow us.
just follow us. Just follow us. Yeah. Facebook.
Follow us.
We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. I think we're on LinkedIn,
and we're on Facebook
too.
Yeah, Shea Trendy Group is on LinkedIn. Yes, Shea Trendy Group is on.
You can follow Shea Trendy Group everywhere, and you can follow Sips and Conversations everywhere.
All right.
And you can follow us specifically in specific places, not everywhere.
Specifically. Yeah, because we ain't everywhere. We only on Instagram and TikTok. I have a TikTok, but I don't use the TikTok. But
my TikTok is purely comedy videos of my boyfriend and his heinous activities. That's
it's so funny. Your TikTok is hilarious. Yeah. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. It's like midnight there. We're going off to the swords. We shall go. So I'm sure you see that in my stories. But thank you very much. Okay, chat later.